Here's how I made Ciri's sword from the Witcher 4 trailer.
Take the easy times what shape us, nay. 'Tis how we rise.
First things first, I need a front view of the entire sword so that it is easier for 3D modeling. Usually, I like to have a front view and a side view, but the front view will work. So I patch what I can from the trailer and sketch out the sword. I bring that front view sketch to plasticity and start tracing the blade. Boom. The blade has these pretty cool cutouts on the sides. I do this by tracing the outline, following the sketch that I did. Extruded that, duplicating, and then cutting out the pieces. Just like that, I'm following the same concept. Tracing, extruding, and then cutting out that object from the blade. Ta-da, there you have it. I like to soften the edges so that it's not too sharp. It's looking more and more like our sword. Now, I'm going to start with the handle. This part is a little bit difficult and took me a long time to figure out since it has all these faces that are curving at different directions. But what I did was I traced out the curves in the front view and top view and then used Project Curve to Curve tool to create the curve I wanted. I went ahead and did this for the other curves so that I can patch the lines and create a face. You can see how that sheet is looking. I traced the flat face of the part I'm working on and extruded. I'm going to use the previous faces I created to cut this extruded part. And then I went ahead and duplicated and then duplicate again. Actually, I decided that it would be best to work with only the top part and then mirroring that part to the bottom. Soften the edges. The handle itself was pretty simple. All I did was traced out the side profile and used the sweep tool. Boom. And then I flattened it a bit. For the top part of the handle, I made a donut and softened the edges. Then made a circle face, duplicated that circle and scaled it down. I clicked L on the keyboard and lofted. Next step is to patch those two ends and create a solid. I followed the same concept as before when I was creating the main part of the handle, where I traced the profile and used the sweep tool. Soften, there we have it. For the words, I use Adobe Illustrator to trace out the markings. And then export these lines as an SVG file where I can just drop it into plasticity and imprint the text onto the blade. Then extruded these letters inwards to engrave these words into the blade. The final step before printing is to separate the blades into pieces so that it's easier and the pieces can actually fit inside the 3D printer. Then, creating little pegs to hold these pieces in place. The STL file is available for download in the description below. and also free for all our Patreon supporters. Every time I get a new content that shows the sword a little better, I make an update to the listing so that I can get the sword to be more accurate for those of you who download my files. Let's take this to our slicing tool, print, and then paint.